Hi there, my name's Luke. I'm the Hard Times guy. And by I'm the Hard Times guy, I mean I'm a person who has a YouTube channel. On my channel I talk about old things. I do business locally. I live in Lawrence County, Indiana. Maybe 40 years now. I've bought and sold antiques. And during that 40 years, I've had antique booths from as far north as Indianapolis and as far south as Madison. Sometimes I had as many as 4 at once in different places. And I'd quit that for a while. Just recently, a couple of years ago, I started doing it again at the White River Arts and Antique Mall, which is south of Bedford, Indiana on Highway 37 and 50, just across the White River. The guy that owns that's a friend of mine. He also runs a business called, he's got 2 or 3 businesses that have to do with making furniture from barnwood. His name's Steve Wolf, and I recommend him and anything that he's associated with to you as you like old things, or you like rustic things, you like primitive things. And I recommend the Antique Mall where I do business. If you like anything, it's like, a lot of this stuff that's in there, it's vintage. I don't even know what vintage means, but I mean, there's a technical definition for what vintage is. I don't know what that technical definition is, but it could be something made out of plastic 20 years ago, I think. I'm not sure. I got stuff around here that's my great grandkids play with and just love, and it's stuff that maybe my children played with. And some of you might think it's old. I think, wow, didn't I just get that somewhere yesterday? But anyway, I digress. Back to where we were going. The Hard Times Chronicles. I make videos. I make videos about old things. I make videos about stories in my family. I make videos about other old stories from the local community. So I like that kind of thing. If you like that kind of thing, you might enjoy my videos. But what prompted me to make this video today was just earlier today I was sitting down at the house in my family room, and I was looking at some stuff on Facebook. And I belong to a group on Facebook. It's called, I think the name of it is Lawrence County Then and Now. I'm not sure, but that's, if it's not that exactly, it's something close to that. And if you live in southern Indiana, you'd enjoy being a part of that group. If you don't know what a group, if you don't know what Facebook is, I'm wasting my breath. If you don't know what a group is, I'm probably still wasting my breath. But it's a bunch of people that have a common interest and they enjoy certain kind of thing. And so within that group, they post things and discuss things. In Lawrence County, Then and Now is probably the local groups around. I'm a member of several groups, but it's probably my favorite group because I just like sitting and reading about the old things and seeing the questions that people ask, and some of them predate me. A lot of them don't. A lot of them, they'll ask a question about something that an old-time business that doesn't exist anymore, and heck, I thought the place was still open. I didn't even know it closed. It had been gone for 20 years, but that's neither here nor there either. Lawrence County Then and Now. And today, and it might have started yesterday, I'm not sure, but I caught up to it today. Someone had asked a question about a bakery on J Street. And they, as they do, different people chimed in. They started narrowing it down to, was it Donaldson Bakery, or was it Colonial Bakery, or was it the Honey-Krust bread Bakery, and then some people even threw in that no, it was the Pfeiffer's Bakery was the one on J Street. And actually Pfeiffer's and the other bakery, two different things. Pfeiffer's was a little sweet shop on the square. Really good stuff. It was there when I was in grade school, junior high, high school. Do the math, I'm 73 years old, however long ago that's been. And the other bakery, maybe originally was Honey-Krust and it changed to Colonial, or I don't know. I think they sorted that all out. But at least one time in its history, it was the Honey-Krust Bread Bakery in a big yellow brick building up about the 800 block of J Street. Today, Mullis Automotive is there. So that's what prompted me to do this video, that discussion. I was going to take some pictures and just try to post them on that site, and then I thought, the best thing to do is just make a little short video, post it on my YouTube channel, and share it with my Facebook friends. And the ones that are interested in the Honey-Krust Bakery, they might just like to see the video. When I was a boy, and I'm talking about probably 8, 10 years old, up to 14 or 15 years old, I'm going to call that a boy. Today, I call people that are 40 years old a boy, but that's neither here nor there. The boyhood that I'm talking about is 8 years old to old enough to get his driver's license. That's a boy. In Bedford, Indiana, this is going to prompt some other memories for you people. We used to have city parks. We still have two of them, Wilson Park and Thornton Park. And we had a third park similar to those two called First Park, F-U-R-S-T. It's named after somebody in the First Stone Company family, I think. But there was a park in the north end, right between 5th Street and 6th Street, and the alleys that are nowadays on either side, running north and south, of T Street. T Street goes between 5th and 6th, or it goes north from 6th to 5th, right through what used to be First Park. And anyway, those three parks had sliding boards on them that were way bigger than any sliding board you see today, way sturdier. They were tall, and I guess they were dangerous because you don't see things like that anymore. They aren't permitted anymore. The liability of having something like that in the park's just too great. And so, but when I was a boy, they had those big sliding boards in a park. In addition to those sliding boards, there were some buildings, and there was more than one, but I can't tell you where the others were. I don't remember anymore. Some people will remember, and maybe they can get a discussion going about this. But Central School, which when I was in 7th and 8th grade was Bedford Junior High School, that building no longer exists, but it was at the corner of 16th and O Street, or it was in that block towards the corner of 16th and O Street, about the middle of that block on 16th Street. And down the side of that building was a big, long, tubular steel structure that was a fire escape for the second floor of that building. In other words, if they had a fire in that building, all the kids on the main floor run out the side, but if they out the doors on both sides. But if they couldn't get out the doors from upstairs, the fire was keeping them from getting down the stairs, they'd go into this one classroom and get in this tube and slide down it, and it was a fire escape. I never knew the school to ever use that. In fact, the whole time I was there, they never had a fire drill where they even used it or even discussed the possibility that somebody would use it. But kids, during the summertime when there wasn't any school, a lot of times would go over there and climb up in that thing just to slide back down it. So that fire escape and those 3 parks with those big sliding boards were a place of amusement for children when I was a boy. And most boys that traversed about the town, and I lived in town and walked all over the place, there was probably no place in Bedford that I didn't at some time or another walk to from my home or from the boys club or from somewhere. So one of the things that boys did was they carried a bread wrapper in their pocket. And they carried that bread wrapper for a specific reason. If you had a bread wrapper, and let me back up again and tell you that bread in those days wasn't in a plastic sack. Bread came wrapped in waxed paper. If you don't know what waxed paper is, Google it, I guess. I'm not going to try to explain to you what waxed paper is, but bread wrappers were made out of waxed paper, and boys carried waxed paper bread wrappers in their back pocket, and they carried those bread wrappers because you could sit on one of those waxed paper bread wrappers and go down one of those sliding boards, and after you did that a couple times, that sliding board got slicker and slicker from that waxed paper being on it. And if several of you had waxed paper, you could get that board so slick that when you sit down on it, it was scary going down it. That's how fast you went down it. And so boys went around with, waxed paper. If you knew you were going to leave home that day and you were going to be in the vicinity of one of them sliding boards, you got a bread wrapper out of the trash, or if there wasn't one in the trash, you dumped your mom's loaf of bread into something else, and you took the wrapper and stuck it in your pocket because you needed it. And I wrote that down in a little short story, much shorter than what I've already wasted your time with here, and put it in a box that I made. Another thing that happened when I was a boy, and this was still happening probably up until about the time I wasn't a boy anymore. In fact, I remember one on the porch of the store in Norman, Indiana, a little grocery store out in the country there, and they had one of these on the porch of that thing when I was in my early 20s still. They had a bread box. What it was a large box, maybe about the size of a blanket chest, sometimes a little smaller, sometimes bigger. And had a hasp on it and a padlock. And when they left the store the night before the bread delivery man was to come, they unlocked their padlock and put it in the hasp, and the bread man came in the wee hours of the morning before the grocery store opened. The bread was baked during the night and it was fresh and delivered that morning. The bread man came and he opened up that box and he filled their order of fresh bread for that grocery store, and then he closed the box and fastened the padlock. And then when the grocer came in, he could unlock the box and get his bread out. And like I said, there was still one of those when I was a young man at the store in Norman. And when I was a boy, there were several of those around town. About any grocery store, especially those mom and pop grocery stores that were here, there, and yonder around town, they had a bread box, and that was their system for getting their bread delivered. So David Cosner, who was a friend of mine a few years ago, had his 70th birthday, and based on how old I am now and how old I think he is, he's a year older than me, That was probably 4 years ago. He was 70 years old. And I built him a bread box. I'm going to show you some pictures of it here in a minute. A bread box, and give it to him for his birthday, because his dad was in the grocery business. And I knew that he'd remember those old bread boxes from when he's a boy, because he's, like I said, he's a year older than me. And the box that I happened to make a replica of was a Honey-Krust bread box, because lots of people in Bedford had Honey-Krust bread because we had that local bakery here. So I'm going to show you, or probably as this video rolls out, and you were listening to me, I already showed you the pictures of David Cosner's birthday present and his bread box. I told you the story that I wrote a short version of and put on the inside of it about the boys and their wax paper. And now I'm going to show you some Honey-Krust bread wax paper. And what I've got here is not a bread wrapper. It's actually the stock from the bakery that held the paper that rolled out and wrapped the bread, and then a machine cut it off and the next loaf of bread went on it. And so this is, I don't know how many Honey-Krust bread wrappers. Never had any bread in it, but it's the stock that our local bakery used to wrap Honey-Krust bread. This particular loaf was white bread, Honey-Krust brand. But if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Go share it with your Facebook friends. Till the next time, I'm the Hard Times Guy.